I wasn't going to make an episode about this, but everybody in SEO is talking about it, so I feel like I got to talk about it too. And it is from Google, from Gary Ilyes from Google, an analyst on the Google search team, who has said normal SEO works for AI overviews. Normal SEO is the same thing as AI SEO. Everyone is really talking about this. There's this post on LinkedIn with Gary Ilyes on stage, and behind him on the screen is AI overviews can answer more complicated questions. And he says, while he's giving this presentation, normal SEO is basically all you need. And then there's this post that did really well on the search engine optimization subreddit. Google confirms normal SEO works for AI overviews. Gary Ilyes just confirmed at Search Central Deep Dive what many of us suspected. AI overviews use the same ranking systems as regular search. Normal SEO is all you need. Had two of my old clients leave recently because they wanted quote unquote geo specialists, generative engine optimization specialists, after hearing geo is the new SEO from bigger agencies. I explained this exact point, but they went with the hype. Google uses identical crawling and indexing for both regular search and AI overviews. Also confirmed they're not using LLMs.txt files despite all the buzz. And I talked about that on a previous episode. I would really recommend it if you just check the biggest content marketing companies, like the websites that dominate content marketing, especially in SEO, and you see they are not using an LLMs.txt. When you go to their site /LLMs.txt, the page is all 404. So back to the post. Turns out the fundamentals we've been doing all along are what actually work. Quality content, technical optimization, authority building, same as always. Sometimes the boring answer is the right answer. Anyone else dealing with clients chasing the latest acronyms over proven fundamentals? How are you handling the hype cycle? I'm going to share some of the top comments and give my thoughts on them because there is some bitterness going on. We shouldn't need Googlers to validate what experienced SEOs have been saying all along, especially as new AI-driven SERP features continue to shape the Google and Bing landscape. You know, I made a podcast about this a few days ago. All of these SEOs on X, they did tests to see what extent ChatGPT was using Google results. And so they made some pages for nonsense words, and they wanted to see if when they asked ChatGPT about the nonsense words, if ChatGPT quoted them, and they had, and what they did was they made sure that these pages were only indexed in Google and not in Bing. And so it wasn't indexed in Bing. And ChatGPT was quoting exactly the Google summaries of the nonsense words, which showed that ChatGPT was using Google search. Actually, I'm going to give a slightly different take, which is that SEO for AI overviews seems, and this requires more testing, seems to be a bit different from normal SEO. But I'm going to give the reason for that after I share a few of these answers, or a few of these comments from Reddit. So top comment is, and like I said, a bunch of these are bitter. Yeah, except traffic from search has tanked. Google just wants ad revenue for every click now. We can keep patting ourselves on the back, but no, we can't be doing the same thing. SEO has forever changed no matter how much you want it not to. I will say, my clicks recently, actually across all of my sites, not just my bottom of funnel sites, not just my sites that mainly target bottom of funnel keywords, my clicks have risen without me really doing much over the last month or two. And my sites were already doing really well. Clicks have just risen. So I just feel very strongly that if you are targeting keywords properly and you're thinking through the keywords, what is this person actually looking to achieve with this search? And then you try to give them that as soon as you can. On the page, before they start scrolling, you try to give them that as soon as you can. You will be rewarded for it. And then you make a page that addresses the rest of the things that somebody searching this keyword might want. You will be rewarded for it. And my clicks have only gone up. So I feel bad for the people who are experiencing downturns because it sucks and it's frustrating and it's scary. And I get that. But I feel so strongly that if you do boring SEO, just really thinking through keywords and trying to give good answers to searchers. Now, I'm not saying make quality content. I'm saying think through things, give answers right away, then extrapolate on what the answer is. By the way, what is the standard? What do most other people do? Most other people will have long introductions or a huge hero image. It requires a ton of scrolling. Maybe the summary is at the bottom instead of the top. Or the thing that the people are actually looking for is buried in the middle. There's tons of fluff. That is actually the standard. Giving people what they want right away is not the standard. So I think if you do proper SEO, you're going to be good. I really believe that. If you want to learn more about proper SEO, I just believe in this so strongly. I've spent a year making my SEO course, compactkeywords.com. Lots of people have checked it out already. If you haven't, I would completely recommend it. Obviously, I would recommend it. I spent a year making it. I update it constantly. And if you're not familiar with it, you can watch the video at the top of that landing page. It also has tons of testimonials. You can see them on the landing page as well. Second comment on this is similar to the first comment. And somebody said, AI mode has cut traffic, not LLMs. LLMs use a query fan out, which modifies the searches. LLMs are not independent search engines. Again, my take is very simple. People who are doing proper SEO, mostly going to see an increase in clicks. Mostly are just going to continue to be rewarded. I think the June update got even better at detecting content that gives searchers what they're looking for right away. That was Google's June core algorithm update, which lasted for 3 weeks, went from the end of June through the middle of July. I believe that it got better at detecting pages and posts that gave searchers what they were looking for right away. This comment I thought was funny. Somebody goes in quotes, "I am a geo specialist with 10 years of experience." And you do hear that. That is something that you hear in this hype cycle with AI SEO, which just people will basically say they have so much experience with AI SEO when the field is still quite new. I'm not going to say I'm an AI SEO expert. I will say I am an SEO expert, and I will say that pretty much everything I've seen, with the exception of what I'm going to share next, corroborates that trying your best to do great SEO will work better for AI SEO than trying to do AI SEO. If you just try to do good SEO instead of AI SEO, that will work better for getting mentions from AI. So what is this thing that I kept typing up that I wanted to say next? If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you've probably heard me talk about it, but it is cheap press releases. I haven't tested this. I totally could see this working, and I'm planning on testing it in the next week or two. Basically, some guy, I think it was on X, it was either on X or I think it was X, and this guy, he wrote how his agency is this amazing AI SEO agency. So his agency is really good at doing search engine optimization for AI. And he wasn't hoping that his agency would come up when people searched for like AI SEO agency. He just wanted to social proof himself, and it's not really social proof. He wanted to give authority to himself when people search his agency's name. You go out, you're meeting people, you're trying to get clients, and then people are going to do due diligence. They're going to research your agency. They're going to research you. They're going to see if you're legit. And then they research you. And if they find nothing, or if they find negative things, well, that's not great. But if they're finding just at the top of Google an AI overview that's being triggered for your brand name that is saying that you are legit, well, that's really good. And so what this guy did is he wrote a press release saying that he is really legit, that his agency is really legit, that it's a great AI SEO agency. I guess that's probably what he was selling people on. I'm a geo specialist with 10 years of experience. And then he used cheap press release distribution services, probably Fiverr or maybe SEO Clerks. He used these cheap press release distribution services, and the AI synthesized what he wrote in the press release because it was mentioned in a bunch of websites where the press release was syndicated to with the cheap press release distribution service. And so the AI said his agency has 5 stars and it's super reputable. And this was being triggered when people were Googling the agency's name. So that is a bit different from normal SEO. You're not going to do cheap press release, spammy press release distribution, and then get a rich snippet for your name that says that you are legit, you are 5 stars. But according to this person, and again, I could totally see this, it does work with AI overviews. So that's a bit different from normal SEO. But overall, I've seen AI SEO and normal SEO, very similar. Here's another comment. I agree with the fact that normal SEO still works. My blog search traffic, which has been stagnant for more than a year, it is now increasing after the June update, just like I've experienced. All I did these days is the normal SEO efforts from my side. Still, when Google says anything, especially to us SEOs and search marketers, we need to take it with a grain of salt. And that is true. Like I've shared in last year's May Google API leak, Google was caught red-handed lying, saying that they didn't measure lots of things that they actually were measuring. But, people who have been doing SEO for a long time, when that leak happened, a lot of them were just like, this isn't very surprising. We've always believed these things and we've always seen these trends. We've always known that this was a thing, even though you denied it. Last comment I will share is, and this is what I just said, yeah, duh, said every SEO that has even the slightest clue what they are talking about. So I wasn't going to make a podcast about this topic, but lots of people were finding it interesting. So, okay, I gotta talk about it. And yeah, sometimes the boring answer is the right answer. Normal SEO is all you need. And that is all that I got for you on this episode of the show. This is episode 756. 756 days in a row doing this podcast. Episode 756 of my daily digital marketing program, my daily digital marketing show. Thank you so much to everybody who watched on YouTube. If you listened on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for listening. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.